So here I've drawn two parallel lines as marked with these arrows, and I've drawn this line that cuts through them, which is also called a transversal. So what are some angle relationships you need to know whenever you're dealing with situations like this? First, I'm going to draw these two angles. Let this be x, and let this be y. What you need to know is that x plus y equals 180 degrees. And why is that the case? Well, notice that x and y are along this straight line over here, and the sum of the angles along a straight line is always 180 degrees. That means x plus y equals 180 degrees, and these are called supplementary angles. I also want to point out how there's many other places that you could draw supplementary angles as well. So for example, these two angles are supplementary, or those two angles are supplementary. So there's lots of places that you can find supplementary angles, and it's a good one you want to know to solve many problems. Here's another relationship that you want to know. I'm going to draw these two angles that are across from each other. These angles are called vertical angles. So let this be x, and let this be y. What's the relationship for vertical angles? Well, what you need to know is that whenever we have these vertical angles, they equal each other. So here, x equals y. In addition, I could also draw these two angles over here. Those are also vertical angles. So here, a would equal b. So these are another easy one that you can spot in many problems as well. And now I want to talk about these two angles over here. What can I say about these two angles if I let this one be x and let this one be y? Well, let's think about it. Let me draw this angle over here first. What do I know about this angle and that angle? Well, I know that they must be equal to each other. Why is that? Well, notice how they're drawn the exact same way. You have this line that comes down and then goes to the left, and then this same line comes down and goes to the left, and these lines are parallel. So I know that these angles over here are in the same situation, so they must be equal to each other. So if this is x, this angle must also equal x. But then what do you know about these angles over here? That's just the vertical angles. So therefore, I know that x is equal to y here because of vertical angles. So now I know that if I have this angle x up here and have that these two lines are parallel, x must equal y. And this is something called alternate exterior angles. The reason it's called that is because first, these are called alternate because x is to the left of this line and y is to the right of the line. And it's called exterior because you are outside of the parallel lines, not between them. And notice there's other places that I can draw alternate exterior angles. For example, these two are also alternate exterior angles, so they must be equal to each other. Another related one are these two angles, which are called alternate interior angles because they're on opposite sides of this line, but they're between the parallel lines, so it's called interior now. And what do we know about these alternate exterior angles, let this be x, let this be y as always, is that they equal each other. And notice I can also draw this version as well, where I have this angle and that angle. Those are also alternate interior angles as well. So let this be a and let this be b. A is equal to b. And a way that I can prove this pretty easily is by doing vertical angles again. So I know the angle A must equal this angle up here because it's the same situation. And then A has to equal B through vertical angles. So that's how you can prove that alternate interior angles are equal to each other whenever we have parallel lines and a line that cuts through them. And finally, here's one little trick you can use whenever you're in a pinch. Notice how all these big angles are equal to each other whenever you have a line and two parallel ones. That's a quick trick you can use. And in addition, all these small angles are also going to be equal to each other. So that's one final trick you can use whenever you're in a pinch or you're having some trouble.